Hello, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And I really did not want to talk about this topic, but I think now I'm forced to because it seems that the Pakistani army, the ISI people, are displaying their desperation and their stupidity. They're becoming a laughing stock by creating this by digging their own graves, basically. So I have to talk about it. Basically, there was this rumor that within the army, this is sometime in August or before that, and then, later on in the mainstream media also, they showed this sort of a hastily put up documentary. I call it hastily put up, although they spent a lot of money, so it's very high budgeted. So obviously they started the documentary with a really good tune so that they could, grab interest, talking about the foundation of Pakistan, about the role of Jinnah and how he, got the independence and all that, and then gravitating towards anti-Imran Khan propaganda. So the first time they showed this documentary was within the army, and actually it only got their soldiers and cadets and other officers, junior officers, more disgruntled because remember, there is a sort of a mutiny going on within the army. So the army is not happy with the way the chief of army is behaving and with the way some of the top brass is behaving. The army knows very well that whatever it's being done is treason, and the army knows that when the public completely rises against them, then the public will not differentiate between the chief of army staff and other top brass and the actual force itself, as in the foot soldiers, the cadets, the junior officers. So to the people, the whole institution is going to be eradicated. The whole institution itself is heavily disliked by the people now, regardless of whether it is just a cadet or somebody in the Air Force or somebody in the Marines. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter the rank, it doesn't matter the unit, it doesn't matter who or what or where. As long as you're in the army, you're now despised and you're considered a traitor. So it's not actually something to be proud of, it's something to be ashamed of. And then on top of that, their superior officers, which really, it is really mind-blowingly, phenomenally moronic, that they actually stooped so low as to create such a fabrication of a documentary, which is basically essentially just propaganda. And that they actually tried to feed. This in itself shows you the fact that they actually tried to feed this propaganda within their own army. This tells you something, right? It tells you something. It tells you that there is dissent within the army. As you know, they already tried killing some of their some of their other officers within the army. They did a court martial and they killed them, just to stop the mutiny, to stop the dissent. And now they thought that, okay, killing them has not helped, so now let's just try to brainwash them. Like, you're stupid. You're so stupid. You just created even more dissent amongst the army. The fact that your own institution does not believe in you or agree with you is in itself, it's this is so huge. The fact that you are so desperate within your own institution that you are trying to force them to watch an anti-Imran Khan propaganda movie and call it a documentary, for crying out loud. So the army has started grumbling about it, and then I thought that this would be enough for them to, back off. But apparently they did not, because then they went and showed it in the army public school. And now they're actually forcing other schools in Islamabad to show that documentary. They're going themselves and showing that so called documentary to none other than sixth graders. Imagine that now. Sixth graders, seventh graders. Why are you going to schools, primary schools, and why are you showing a propaganda movie to minors? And again, which I keep on and on telling you people that you're messing with the wrong generation. You're messing with the wrong generation. Our generation is already so peed off that we're ready to literally blow you to bits. Believe me, our generation has only one solution for you people, and that is to kill you in the most sadistic, most brutal, most phenomenal way for generations to come. That people would remember for generations to come, to never ever mess with us. That's what we are planning. So imagine the generation after us. Okay, you're going to minors and you're trying to propagate against a person who they already know too much about and who they're already following. And you're already, your face is already blackened in front of them. And then again, you're engaging minors in political conflict. Why? I mean, and these are people who were born into social media, and they were born into they'd actually know how to manipulate the dark web better than you. In heck, they're probably the ones who even created much of the dark web that we see nowadays. You're actually going to that generation that is born into the digital world, and you're trying to mess with them, and they're actually laughing at you. The kids are laughing and making fun of the fact that the army is coming to our schools, and they're showing us a movie, and they're showing us this movie, and they're laughing. I mean, you've become a laughing stock. Like, how desperate are you? How low down are you going to get? I really do not even want to talk about this, but I mean, seriously. And now the next point is our caretaker prime minister. So Pakistan doesn't have any money, right? That is why Pakistan, being the beggar that it is, went to IMF, and then America, because it had to pay off its minions, forced IMF to give billions of dollars to Pakistan, which the people who asked for that money, the PDM members, they distributed all that money amongst themselves, and then they left. Right, most of them fled the country, like especially Shahbaz Sharif and Maryam Nawaz fled the country. And then suddenly you have a caretaker government that is again their own people put in place to ensure that somehow they should come back. And then what does this caretaker government do? Instead of doing the job that a government is actually brought to do, they're doing everything else. Their job is to ensure elections within 90 days, but they crossed those 90 days way back when. And they're crossing another 90 days, as far as I'm concerned. And what are they doing? The caretaker prime minister decides to take a trip to America on a special plane, not a commercial flight, no. He takes a special plane. So he does basically what all his party members and his predecessors have been doing. That is the Sharif families, the Dari family, PDM, the people that brought him here, the people whose family member he really is at the end of the day. What the army has been doing, what the people of the establishment have been doing. He decided to take a trip to America, stopping on the way to France, and with no less than his family, right? So he's taking a special plane on an uncalled for, unwarranted, allegedly official trip, which actually went nowhere because he didn't meet anybody anywhere. So he went on a so called official trip on a special plane with his whole family, dropping on the way into Paris, where he goes and visits Eiffel Tower, and he books a stay at an expensive hotel. And then he goes to America. Again, over there, he takes his family out on a trip because he doesn't get to meet anybody over there. He has no real meetings with anybody over there. And then on the way back, he drops off at London. He's not in Pakistan. No, he goes to England, where he has a meeting with Nawaz Sharif, whose ass he needed to lick actually before he came, because Nawaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif's dogs were the ones who brought this dog in. Remember, he's the army's dog. He's in fact the ISI's dog. So one dog tells the other dog to bring the third dog in. So now the third dog has to go to alpha dog to find out what the real alpha dog, which is there in America, has to say, because that alpha dog in America, for pretenses, had to avoid seeing him so that there should not be any more controversy or proof or evidence of the fact that America is still interfering in Pakistan. So there we are, and all on our money again. You do realize that they're not taxing the elites, because they are the elites who are not paying their taxes. So they're not taxing the elites, but they've taken money from the IMF and they're taxing us by quadrupling our bills, not doubling or tripling, but quadrupling our bills, and raising the prices of petrol, and then raising the prices of everything else around us, and forcing us to pay taxes on top of taxes and taxes on top of taxes. So we're paying four different taxes in only just, against only one item, you can say. This is a good example of what's going on. So you're getting an item and you're paying taxes upon taxes upon taxes. So the item isn't worth anything itself. What you're paying are all taxes. And that is exactly what's going on with the bills as well. And so, okay, and on the other hand, again, it's the elites who are stealing electricity and power, and they need to make it up from us. Okay, so they're stealing everything and we have to pay for it. They're begging for loans, we have to pay for it. What kind of a justice is this? And this is what Imran Khan was basically stopping, and this is how Imran Khan was steering Pakistan towards independence, real independence. And this is what America did not like. Because you see, as long as you keep on taking money from America, which is actually your own money being recycled back to you against more interest. So as long as as long as you're under that vicious cycle, you're under America. And Imran Khan was actually bringing us out of that cycle, which is what America could not afford, because that meant that it could not control us. That meant no, goodbye minions, goodbye dogs. So America had to bring its dogs back in. They had to be brought back into play so that, they could start the woof woof bang bang again. And here we are. So our caretaker prime minister, whose only job is to sit tight and arrange for elections. He has no other job, but no, he decides to interfere with everything else, which he's not allowed to constitutionally, and then he decides to go and make 3 trips on a special plane with his family on public expenses. What do you expect from such a man? What you should expect is a terrible death again, because as I said, what my generation is contemplating is how to actually kill every single one of them in the most brutal, painful way possible. I'm hoping that if our generation can at least manage to set the stage, the next generation can fulfill the killings. Because this is going on for too long. And again, it's the generation above us to be blamed. They created this whole situation. We have to deal with it. We're already dealing with the corruption. We're dealing with the dishonesty. We're dealing with the cowardice. We're dealing with the repercussions of having no jobs, no opportunities, of having no future. And now the next generation has nothing. What do you think that will come to? What do you think will be the result of all of this? Well, I think I've had it. I've really had it till here now. So I'm signing out. This is me, Huda Hafiz.